Are we live? Are we live? Are we live? Yesterday, this came in clutch. Yesterday, I was pretty flustered, Ryan. I don't know if you got in the stream, and we weren't. My microphone was off. So that's why we do the Are We Live? So let us know if we are live. We've got day 9 of Giants training camp. I'm Bobby Skinner here with Ryan Novozinsky of NJ.com. We're going to recap it all. So a lot to talk about. Jackson Dart, had some struggles today, in our Jackson Dart segment, some other things. A very nice circus catch by Wan'Dale Robinson on a play that I want deleted from Brian Dable's mind. Matrix style. How you feeling, Ryan?
I'm feeling a lot better, man. And I'll tell you what, we'll go and we'll get the sponsorship in later, but I did crush some body armors yesterday, and it did make me feel a lot better. I'm not kidding.
It made you feel. Let me ask you this: Are your headphones really loud?
No, they're fine.
Okay, because mine were. I just didn't want to make sure you were like being polite while I'm like blaring in your ears. So yeah, good first day of practice, and see, this is where I almost forgot to hit the tweet button.
Oh yeah.
So good day 9 of training camp practice. Beautiful weather, big crowd for a Saturday. We can start. What do you want to start with? Jackson Dart. I guess we can start with Jackson Dart.
Yeah, let's get right into it.
Because it's been the first day, and this is actually the clip that you posted of the touchdown to Jordan Bly. I'm not even so sure. It would have been this one would have been reviewed for 10 minutes. And it made a bit. They called it the touchdown, so I left it that. There was also one play he threw. I thought was actually kind of his best throw on like a high low at the back of the end zone. They called him out, so I just kind of like, all right, well, they called one out, one touchdown. I'll just do that 1 for 2 with a touchdown. 6 of 13 with this touchdown on the day. It was the first time we've seen Dart have a bad day since those first 3 days. And I hope that I'm not like trying to sugarcoat it or anything, because I was pretty frustrated those first 3 days of him not throwing the ball. But we had 5 days, a couple of run periods, but no really bad days for Dart. And at least this day there was a couple plays where he held onto the ball too long, but it wasn't just total like he doesn't know what he's doing out there. It was just missing some passes.
I thought that like you said, the mistakes that he made today, they weren't, he didn't lean into those things that really aggravated us on day 1 and day 2. So that, like you said, is the refreshing thing. Now, the missed passes and stuff like that, you want to clean that up. But at the same time, you can, I guess, breathe a sigh of relief that at least it's not from indecision anymore. At least it's not from, him holding onto the ball too long anymore and not going through his reads enough. This looks like just, mechanically a bad day.
Yeah. And like you said, there is going to be some passes where he holds onto the ball too long, but that's a part of playing quarterback. Every quarterback's going to go through that. It was like a chronic issue early. I will say, as we have one regular practice left before we take a week off, or at least I take a week off until joint practices with the Jets.
I am too.
And okay, perfect. Then the joint practice with the Jets is going to be very much about competition within them. The last practice, we'll see how that goes. If there is like one negative takeaway I have from Dart through 9 practices, it just feels like he can't get the deep ball down. I don't feel like we've had him, hit those passes over the middle and some nice throws down, not, in the middle intermediate 15 to 25 yard range, but it just feels like those deep passes on the vertical plane or on the outside. It feels like he's just been way off with those. Now, granted, he doesn't get to throw those balls to Neighbors or Slayton the way Russ does. He's throwing them to, instead, in reality, not deep threats, except for Jalen Hyatt, who's actually been rotating with the ones. Right. Today, Slayton was out, so he hasn't even gotten that much with Hyatt. So he just hasn't been able to get that timing down at all with any of those receivers down on those deep passes.
No, definitely not. And the touchdown you alluded to earlier, like it kind of just sailed over in the end zone and stuff like that. No, that's definitely been a concern. I think the one pass that I looked at today that he was crisp on deep ball wise was the Montreal Washington one-on-one rep. That was a pretty ball. Like that was a pretty ball on a fade route from Washington, who burned. I think it was Nick Jones, actually, our boy.
Yeah.
But
Montreal Washington has taken Nick Jones' spot.
Certainly, as the former Chief that you want to make the roster. No, definitely has. But no, that was the one play that I could look back on and say that was a pretty deep ball from Jackson Dart, and that was in one-on-ones with no pass rush.
Yeah, and for me, for one-on-ones, I simply don't like
exactly.
I don't even look at the quarterback. So people, if I post a clip, be like, who threw that pass? I don't know, because it's just the quarterback is throwing it no matter what. Now, if a guy is having a bunch of misses in a row, then it's a little alarming. But I'm not even paying attention to them. It's just he hasn't been able to get that down. You did mention Montreal Washington, and
Have a day, man.
he
Have
had
a day.
he had 2 catches from Jackson Dart today, and Dart, only had the 6 completions. I'm even gonna pull up my training camp notes to see the receptions from Dart so far. So if you add it in today, and I'm gonna do quick math, Dart's number 1 target has been Montreal Washington with 7 catches. Bo Collins and Scalaboo have 5. A little unfair because those guys have missed time with injury. And it seems like Scalaboo might be out a little longer. Bly would be somewhere there. Bly might be at like 3. I feel like there might be a wide receiver spot available on this team. You have your starters, then Jalen Hyatt's going to make the team.
Mm-hmm.
I think Amir Smith, I wouldn't be surprised if they keep 6 and look for a special teamer. And here's the reality is Bo Collins has looked solid, and he's the young guy, and they like to give those guys opportunities. Montreal Washington, though, the Giants don't have a backup slot. They put Amir Smith-Marset in that role, and then they've kind of replaced him with Washington because Smith-Marset's a specialist.
Yeah.
And Washington is like that slot receiver. And we've seen guys that, don't have this history of great production, have production as in the slot role for Brian Dable's offense. Like, I feel like there's an open spot between, Montreal Washington, Bo Collins for like a possible roster spot. And we put him in the damn thumbnail today. I've been happy with Washington. He's made passes down the field, and these quarterbacks haven't hit a ton of quick game, but Washington's been a part of that too.
No, like you said, I think as much as Amir Smith-Marset wants to carve his way into being that backup slot, he's mentioned that quite a bit with me. I just don't know. I like you said, I think they'll probably just keep him on as a specialist and take a chance on one of these guys. And I would give, I think like you mentioned with Collins having the youth and being sort of the lottery ticket, having that aspect to him, they'll probably want to go that direction. But the advantage with Washington, this camp especially, is that he has that connection with Jackson Dart. Like, I don't know if that would go a long way, but it certainly could.
I should have looked up Montreal Washington's stats on this episode. But yeah, like you said, he is getting that. Like, Bo Collins had some nice catches from Dart, so I guess you can make the same argument he hasn't been out there. But Washington has been the guy for Dart, and I would like to see him maybe even, wrinkle in a couple of, first team snaps here or there. With that, the first team offense with Russell Wilson, Russ was 10 for 12 today. The best play was the play that this is all fun and all, and you're going to see Wan'Dale make this second effort grab.
Insane.
It's and I almost didn't even record this play. I guess somebody else would have got it, but it is a play that Brian Daboll wants to hit in a game. It was the Malik Neighbors versus the Cowboys that Daniel Jones threw back. It was, I can't remember what game it was where he threw the interception on it. Was it the Minnesota game where he tried to throw he needs to eliminate this Brian Daboll needs to eliminate this from the playbook. This is I have Josh Allen.
I think it was the Minnesota game. Now I think about it. Yeah.
Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes on my team type of throw. And again, Russell Wilson has no weak arm. He's a good deep thrower. Jackson Dart doesn't have a weak arm. This is a special arm throw, and Daboll's got to just get it out of his head. This is not going to be the way you're going to create that explosive. It is just so much more likely that it's going to turn into a pass breakup. Now, Greg, he got very lucky on this one because, but it's a play that is inviting the DB to get back in the play or even get an interception. So very cool play for Wan'Dale today. So, happy for him that he was able to catch that play. But in reality, I think that's what we get excited for in training camp. And I'm just like, eliminate that from your playbook, Daboll, because it's just the risk of it going terrible is so much higher than the reward of getting a 50-yard play off of some trickeration.
Agreed. And I was right there when it happened. Fortunately, there was a security guard on my face, but it was all like I thought it was a surefire pass breakup from I think it was a Debo in coverage, right? That is definitely a dangerous shot down the field, and not one that unless you make a circus catch like that like you said, the risk is the juice is just not worth the squeeze there.
Yeah, it's just hard to get. It's hard to not have that ball hanging up because what it is you have, the receiver from the right kind of running over route, and then he turns it up, and then you have the quarterback booting all the way to the right. So you got him throwing 50 to 60 yards down the field from the opposite side. again, like that's a Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, only a couple guys in the NFL like you really feel comfortable making that throw, and I just feel like that I feel like Dable's got to eliminate that one.
Unless Jackson Dart has some sort of meteoric rise this year, I don't see
Well,
him.
even Jackson Dart could be the best quarterback in the
Exactly.
NFL. He doesn't have that type of arm.
Totally.
I mean, it's just not in his playbook. We got to get some more likes on this video.
It was Drew Phillips in coverage. That's my
Okay,
bad.
Drew Phillips. Let's see. Other things with Russ. I will say this: the offense today, and you'll see on this little leak play to Daniel Bellinger, who blocks and release against Micah McFadden. It felt like, again, an open compete period. The defense, maybe it might be in a one-day thing, but it felt like they were very much biting on any type of action that they have, right? Like there was, this Y leak play. There was a play action play where both the linebackers just got sucked in and hit Theo Johnson. Russell Wilson hit Theo Johnson over the middle. They ran a reverse, which it wasn't like the most well ran reverse, but there was like defensive linemen were, including Darius Alexander, were literally running the opposite way of where the play ended up going. Like once it was very well declared a reverse. So maybe it's just one day and then 3 plays that happened, but I did take note of that today, that the defense felt like they were falling for some of these, play action chickeration. I mean, hell, even that Wandale throw, I mean,
yeah,
Drew really had to get back into the play there for that. Let's see, what else was there from the offensive point? Oh, did you see there was a nice, I usually don't watch wide receiver corner one-on-ones. It's not my main focus, and I'll play this clip. There was a nice like 3 play set with Neighbors versus Banks.
Oh yeah.
And we can even go through them. Banks does a solid job on the first 2. Neighbors gets him, for a touchdown on the third one. And again, Flott is out. O'Donnell Fortune was actually getting some first team reps at corner. I don't know what happened with Banks, or if maybe they were just wrestling them. They also saw Makari Page, the safety out of Michigan, in there. But like Banks does a good job on these first plays. Again, it's up top. It's very hard to see. In fact, I got to take my sunglasses off for it as I lean forward. But you see Banks match well, get hands, turn his hips, get in phase, and then locate the ball. Right now, maybe the Neighbors catches that, but if it was a better throw, but he at least locates the ball. Next one, get hands on him. Get hands on him. Follow the hips underneath it. Awesome. And then this next one goes to land that press. Neighbors does a good job outside releasing. And this is where Banks gets in trouble, because not every play you get to dominate the receiver from beginning to end. And so when he gets a little bit behind, that's where I feel like everything breaks down for him. So, hey, Neighbors has him, but Neighbors has to come back for the ball on this one, and Banks is just not like making his head on a play. And that's just kind of the issue with Banks. It's not that he can't have a great rep. And we've talked about I'll let that clip go for you guys while we're talking. It's not the fact that he can't have a great play or have a a good job against a wide receiver one. It's just whenever he's not in a great position, it just feels like he lets a not great snap become worse with not turning his head, getting pass interferences. It's not in any of these clips, but where he'll lose leverage when he's cheating one way or the other. It's just, I feel like that's just with Banks, and that's always going to be the issue, because you're not going to be in perfect spots and just total domination every snap of the day.
Right. Banks is, and they're always so glaringly obvious too. And Banks is like just 60% of what you would want in an ideal corner. He's got the athleticism. He's got all these different traits that you want to see in a number 1 corner, let alone a number 2 corner. But then just it's the mental ability there, man, and not the ability not to turn his head. It's so striking, and it's the reason that it's kind of been in a bit of a lock with Cordell Flott at this point. But it seems to me now that he's kind of breaking away from that. And not just that, but like you said, on these plays with Neighbors, you want to see that toughness, that tenacity from Deonte Banks. But after that, let's show us in a live situation, man. Show us during team period.
Which we haven't had. And you said like he 60% of Banks. I actually have about 60% left of this body armor. And this recap is brought to you by Body Armor Sports Drink. Rewrite your routine and choose better with Body Armor. Body Armor is real hydration with electrolytes. coconut water, and no artificial dyes, flavors, or sweeteners. With great tasting flavors like strawberry, banana, in my hand, or orange mango, Body Armor will level up your hydration game. Grab Body Armor Sports Drink today at your local grocery store. Body Armor. Choose better. You'll be glad you did. The one thing I'm going to miss the most about these camp streams is figuring out ways to bring in the Body Armor. See how much I could throw Novo off.
I think tonight I'm gonna just like try that out with my girlfriend. I'm just gonna be like in mid conversation. I don't know how we're gonna interact with it, but I'm gonna slip in a Body Armor. I'll let you know how it goes.
Oh, you got to drive her nuts.
Yeah.
You need to just have a whole night where it's like, oh, you're tired. Body Armor. I'm trying to think of things that women say. And then do Body Armor reads. We're gonna be drinking Body Armor with the Sussex County Miners game tonight, so make sure to come out. We'll talk about that a little bit at the end. Also, we gave away the TV, so we're gonna that's how we're gonna finish the show. We're gonna play the clip of the TV. So check out Body Armor. So Russ, we talked about went 10 of 12 today. I think something I tweeted out on Thursday that Theo Johnson had, I think, 4 catches from Russ over the first couple days. It's like, okay, maybe he's getting a little more involved. He had 0 from I think day 3 to day 7. 0.
Yep.
And again, 4 in total. The last 2 days, he's had 6 catches from Russell Wilson and team drills, and Daniel Bellinger's been a little more involved too. And that tweet wasn't necessarily a like, oh, Theo Johnson stinks tweet. It was more like Russell just has not been targeting the tight ends over the middle. You did see, again, you've seen him get a little more involved over the last couple of days, which is a good sign to me because Theo I think is one of the biggest wild card players on the team.
I put in my notes here. I when I saw him become completely alive today, I just wrote Theo Johnson equals alive. It was kind of the Ed Valentine curse too, because he put out there, he was like, oh, I think Theo Johnson's going to be the number two option outside of Malik Neighbors there, and then boom goes zero targets the rest of the way in camp. No, listen, I think there was a lot of chatter. There was a lot of buzz about Theo Johnson coming into camp, right? Like, what can he do year 2, stuff like that. And I like a lot of the, I like the physical makeup of Theo Johnson, and I think he could be a good tight end in this league. It's all about how much they get him involved. Clearly, that wasn't a point of emphasis those past couple of days, but now it seems like that maybe they listen to Giants Nation podcast and they change course.
I have to tell myself to not get conceited because sometimes I'm like, oh, they probably are doing that, and like because nope, they're not. They're just running their practice. There was another thing today because I tweeted like, oh, I quote tweeted like Theo Johnson is 6. What was their other thing? I can't remember exactly what it was, but what do you think is going to happen? Do you think Tommy DeVito is going to last all of training camp?
Oh man,
because he's been struggling. And I just want to know where we're heading with Tommy DeVito because it's not. He has been a fan favorite, but now that Russ is here, Dart's here, Neighbors, you got like, it's got more guys that people are fans of, and I just feel like we're eventually heading for some type of breakup where we're like at least a cut down on 53 and see what DeVito has options. It just feels he's struggled really in camp, and it's not a great situation for him to thrive, but it just feels like we're taking snaps away from the quarterbacks that need it, which are the other 3. And again, and this isn't a me thing. Dable has always carried 3 quarterbacks on the roster. The only time they had carried 4 was last year. Daniel Jones coming in was injured, so they had Nathan Rourke. They had Nathan Rourke threw 1 pass through 2 days, and then they cut him.
I think I've said this since like day 2 of camp. He's completely taking reps away from the quarterbacks that need it. A lot of this camp has felt like just, and rightfully so, a Jackson Dart kind of, training wheel session, so to speak. It's training camp, obviously. And he's a rookie quarterback coming in. I think if you, but those Tommy DeVito reps are almost just like a momentum killer. I feel like any time during practice, you get those up, and it's almost, you can almost hear the groans. Like, and I'm sure they're kind of going on in within the team too. Did you see his pass during the little crossbar competition today, the goalpost competition at the end?
So I saw them huddle around. I saw Jameis just hit it, and then I saw the other 2 miss it.
So it was Russ missed his first, Jameis doinks it. So the competition was, okay, get the quarterback, line 4 balls up, and if the quarterback hits the crossbar, then they don't have to go through walkthroughs tonight. That was the incentive. Thankfully, Jameis hit it on second or on his first try, but he was second up. It was obviously in the order: Russell, Jameis, Dart, and then Devito at the end. Devito's was like I swear to God, Ryan Dunleavy could have thrown it better than Devito out there. It was ridiculous, man.
We need to test that on Monday.
Yeah.
Dunleavy's coming on the bus. We'll get a football out here and see if he can hit the K2 sign or something.
Right, exactly. On a serious note, though, like it is a complete momentum killer having DeVito out there. I don't know why they don't just, there's going to be a break.
You got to rip off
point.
the Band-Aid eventually. Mm-hmm. So let's see. Other offensive notes I had. Again, Russ was 10 for 12. The tight ends had 4 catches today. Neighbors a couple. Wandale had 2. I was going to say something about Jalen Hyatt, but with Russ, you just get receivers, even like Slayton and Wandale, where they just get shut out for a day. So I'm not even going to make anything of him not getting any targets.
Although I did
Russ
see
today because Slayton was out, so Hyatt was like the number 2 receiver the entire day.
I did see in one-on-ones. We've been begging for a Debo to finally clamp someone down and get. We wanted him to get a turnover for sure, but he put the clamps on Jalen Hyatt today. It was good to see him lock up at least somebody.
Yeah, it's like like I said, he's going to give up yards. That's who he is. But if there's clamp up Hyatt. How about that?
Scattaboo.
What's up with him?
So he is. Daboll said that he's day to day. He said he has a setback, but that's kind of Brian Daboll speak for. I think he's going to miss a little bit of time here. That's what it sounded like at least. Apparently, obviously, I saw the videos yesterday of him being frustrated and coming off the field with an injury. Looks like, and he missed a little bit of spring as well. I wonder if there was just, some mileage in him from the college football season or off-season training or something like that. And then this setback is something that happened. And I think that, I'm not going to sound the alarm bells and say, oh, he's going to miss week 1 or whatever. But certainly, him not being out there today and Daboll calling it a day-to-day, I wonder if this ends up being kind of a week-to-week situation.
Yeah, I tweeted. I was like, this guy was day-to-day. Did anyone know what day it's going to be?
Yeah.
That means, well, what's up with Van Roten? When's he having this baby?
Oh, I don't know, man. Yeah, that's a mystery to me. I have no idea when he's having this.
Maybe they already had it and he's just taking a couple of days off.
Vet move.
This guy putting family over his job. Couldn't be me. Let's see. A couple other things. Chris Manhertz just fucking punked Roy Robertson here. Mm-hmm. So I tweeted out today that I think Raheem Nunez-Rocha should be defensive tackle too. And these streams aren't about Twitter conversations, but I realized that people who aren't here took that as, oh, Nacho's having a great camp, and they're like, sorry, I'm not falling for it. And that was not it at all. Nacho has not had a great camp. I think he's been an adequate defensive tackle. And I know I'm beating a dead horse on this. I hate this defensive tackle group so much outside of Dex. And Dex practiced a little bit today. How many times do I have to watch Roy Robertson Harris just get punked? He's like 265, 70 pounds.
Yep.
Okay, and I understand they have this love affair with him, but like he is a liability in the run game. Chapman wasn't out there today dealing with injury. Like, put your run defenders on the field. I said this with Filato yesterday. Like, put Nacho, put Jeremiah Ledbetter. Darius Alexander's a rookie who's not ready yet. He may be the best defensive tackle in the NFL in 2 years, but right now he's not ready. They just need to focus on getting run defenders on the field with those guys. And it seems like they're not giving Ledbetter any chance at this. Roy Robertson Harris has always been the first defensive tackle out there. I'm getting frustrated with it, and it's year 4, and I just feel like the vibes, people talk about the vibes and all that stuff, and I roll my eyes a little bit at that, but there's no denying that they have a pass rush. That's awesome. Pass rush is so important. On offense, they don't have terrible players. With Thomas, they have an adequate offensive line. They upgraded at quarterback, but I just keep thinking, what if teams just run the shit out of the rock on us? And the only time the defense was good last year was when they played the Cowboys, the Bengals, the Seahawks, and there was one other, and the Browns.
Yeah.
There was a 4-game stretch where that defense was good, and those were 4 teams who were, one, terrible at running the ball, but didn't like to run the ball at all. And then once they started facing the rest of their schedule, then teams started running the ball on them. And I remember the mailbag after that, going into the Eagles game, I was like, I know this defense is ranked 11th or whatever it was, but I'm worried that once they start playing teams that want to run the ball and are good at it, they're going to get dominated. And that's exactly what happened. And I'm worried that that's going to repeat again this year. And teams are going to know, like, they've got a legit pass rush. Let's just control the rock and run the ball.
That's exactly what Dexter Lawrence, alluded to on day one when he spoke. This is something that, this was the number one priority for Shane Bowen going into his tenure here with the Giants. And now a year later, it's not even fixed. It's a major red flag. It's a major concern. Let's see when the pads really come on and the games are live. But I think that's even going to amplify it and make it worse. This was the easiest competition to go and grab this camp, and not a single person has stood out except for maybe Nacho, and even that's not exactly
it's by default.
By default.
Yeah, it's a by default thing. This is not a glowing review of Nacho. It's just, I think he's the only guy who makes a play here or there in the run game, and he's not going to get totally worked.
And like, if you look at, like, I think I said this on another podcast or on another stream here, but like, in the wins above replacement, the war, he is that replacement level player. That's Raheem Nunez-Roches.
Yeah.
It's just not a winning strategy, man. You have that bulldozer and Dex in the middle, yes, but what do you have outside of that? And that's going to be the major thing where they're just going to shoot up that gap, and teams are going to punish you there.
Yeah, get your guys' questions in. We'll do some questions before we roll. Then I'm heading up to, or heading. Actually, I don't even know what direction it is, but I'm going to the Sussex.
North.
It's north.
Yes.
Okay, I'm heading north. Do you say whenever you're going somewhere, you're like going up there,
yes,
or down there, or whatever?
I usually say up there, and then it's like, oh,
I'm like in almost, I'm not too far away from the southernmost point of the U.S., and I'm like, we're going down to Alabama, and it's no, we're going up to Alabama. So get your guys' questions in, and if you're, be there at 5, be there by 5. That's when the show's going to be. Come check it out. Marcus Bowe, I guess that's somebody that I wanted to spend some time on. I thought he looked pretty damn good. James Hudson got pulled. They now take guys out when they get false start penalties. And Bowe looked pretty good against Kayvon and his bit. And then when he's placing backups, he's become like really good. So I think he deserves a battle with Hudson. He's on. Every year we do the preseason players to watch before the first game. Bowe's definitely hitting that top 5 for me.
On that Jackson Dart touchdown pass to Jordan Bly, Bowe, I forget who was lining up against him. I think it was either Fox or
it was a Fox or Ford. It was a 40 something.
But he great pass protection there. Kept him out. Kind of wedged in between, and created an opening for Dart to throw it there, and kept him safe there. No, I like what I've seen from Marcus Bowe. I think this is exactly, like, they're getting more production out of Bowe than probably what they anticipated. And this is a 5th round pick, but I feel like he probably could have gone way earlier.
Yeah, so I'm just excited for Bowe. Juicy, with camp done, how much do you think Phillips' LASIK procedure will improve his play this season, and why will be a Pro Bowl this year? I know Juicy. I know he's being a little facetious. When has the guy got LASIK surgery thing ever turned the, now Phillips wasn't bad, so it's different than like Jameis.
But yeah, I was gonna say Jameis is the one example that I could think of, and it still was terrible.
You weren't covering the Giants, but I'm sure you watched that Giants Eagles playoff game a few years ago. I knew every fact about Daniel Jones. I watched every college throw of his like 3-4 times. Is when I first started getting the content. I knew every receiver he threw a touchdown into in college. I remember when Jake Bobo got a touchdown for the Seahawks. I was like, Daniel Jones' last passing touchdown in college football was to Jake Bobo, who transferred to UCLA. And we're in a playoff game, and all of a sudden, like, he has contacts because his contact fell out in that game. Like, I had no clue that Daniel Jones wore contacts. And then we're sitting there in a bar seeing him do that. How many 3 defensive tackle sets? If so, who are the defensive tackles? You actually do see quite a bit of them using 3 D lineman sets. It's usually Roy Robertson Harris, Nacho, and then Dex if he's there. And if Dex hasn't been there, it's been usually Elijah Chapman, but Chapman was out today.
Right.
So the third guy today was, I believe, Davidson, or was Davidson not out there? I can't remember exactly. Let's get a couple more questions and then we will roll.
Are they supposed to put cities anymore?
They're supposed to. They're not doing it though.
Can we add an intercourse for?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay.
I'll add intercourse Pennsylvania for you. Do you get the sense that there are victories on both sides, passing wise, or is the offense just dominating? It is mostly the off. Like,
yeah.
Really, none of the Drew Phillips will make a play here or there. Really, Debo and Banks has had a couple, but Debo and Banks really aren't making any plays. And then the safeties, Holland and Newman, really haven't made a ton of plays either. So the secondary, I do think, is a little sketchy, even though they should be improved.
I think Drew Phillips has been the one standout corner of camp. That's pretty much it. Like, Debo, we're still waiting on that kind of a signature moment from a Debo. I don't know if it'll come in the next couple of days or what. But no, it's just been Drew Phillips kind of making plays.
Yep. All right, we're gonna go there again. I gotta, we gotta get rolling to the Sussex County Miners live show. So if you're gonna be there, be there. Make sure you're there by 5:00. We'll be live from the home plate. I'm throwing out the first pitch.
Is your arm ready?
Did I tell you what my plan is?
No.
You know what? I'm not going to say it. But if people who have listened to every minute of me, and there are those people, there is something I've said about the opportunity of maybe getting a first pitch.
Oh wait, yeah, you did say this the other day.
Yeah. We'll see if it happens. So I'm really excited for that. We gave away the TV today, so the wheel will be back on Monday. But it's going to be no mystery box. It's going to be T-shirts and hats and stickers. So we got one more regular one before the joints practices, but we did give away the TV, and some people like, oh, I don't want the TV, and I was very happy that it wasn't something like that. But what we did is we put it in a greeting card that was like, get better soon, good things are coming your way. And so the kid wins, and I'll play the video to close this out. The kid wins in the mystery box, and so I hand the card. I was like, oh, you got a card, sorry, bud. And he's like, oh, it's okay, very polite, Like I said, it's polite disappointment, which when a kid is politely disappointed, that's the sign of good parents. So the kid's politely disappointed, and I was like, but you remember, you always read a card when you get it, and he goes to read it, and he reads the thing that's on the card about things, and I was like, and then we're like, read the bottom, because we put in little tiny letters, and then he's like, oh, we won the TV. So all right, we'll see you guys on Monday. Gonna play that to finish us off. And then we'll see you then. So until then, let's go Big Lou. 36 it's just a card. But it's okay. Remember, you always read what's inside a card.
Read it first. Read it first.
You got to read what's inside the card.
I know there's good stuff in store for you. Down.
Oh, you won the TV. There you go. Finally, we gave it away.
No. Yeah, you won the TV.
Can you carry that by yourself?
I can carry that.
Where are you guys at? Can you guys drive?
I'm right in front of you.
Can you guys handle it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, can we take a picture first?